Hi, Joy here, and this is proving to be one of the most difficult videos I'm ever making because of the heavy subject matter. I'm going to talk about things that I probably shouldn't, but I feel I have to because it's necessary to just get everything off of my chest and try to let go of everything that's going on. I don't really know how to start this. This is the first time I'm actually saying I'm not sure if I'm going to post this, although I think I am. Before I start, I do need to mention one thing that's about the mechanics of YouTube, which is the comments section of some of my videos is not always showing all of the comments. Now, I don't get a lot of comments, so I can't understand why not all of them are in fact showing. The only thing I can do is to advise you to switch your settings when you reach a video to newest first rather than top comments, because it's not showing comments that I have, given a like and a heart to when it's just displaying top comments, and I cannot work out why. I think YouTube is just fucking bugged or something. This happened on my circumcision video. I don't know what other videos it has affected because I've made like 80 of them so far. So that's all I can do to really fix the problem at the moment. Unless, of course, it was a comment that involved some sort of vitriol or like prejudiced language or anything like that, then it should be up, it should be available to see. So anyway, I've spent 2 minutes preambling. So anyway, the topics at hand. The first one I want to talk about is the sort of obvious elephant in the room, the rationality rules. Controversy is still having an effect. It's still, like, it's been over 2 fucking months now, and I've seen a community get torn apart. As someone who was part of the initial backlash, I feel somewhat responsible, despite the fact that I don't think I have done anything wrong. Now, I am just a small voice in an ocean of people, but I just need this to stop now. I'm not trying to stir up anything at this point. I just want to conclude, really, on what's going on, because the drama is dying down now, finally, after 2 months of hell. I think the majority of the problems are dying down because of the rationality rules correction video, which has been promised for ages, and now that we've seen it, it's finally out, and he managed to create a video in which he didn't say anything implicitly or explicitly transphobic, so yay for finally doing that. But the ripple effects have been massive. Some of the comments on that video I saw still vilify trans people. So the damage has not been like swept up. Some of the comments there are saying things like, well, trans people are such snowflakes, they got their feelings hurt over nothing. No, you don't get to tell us that we got our feelings hurt over nothing. You don't get to tell us that someone making statements like that, whether they were intentional or not, which is a question for the fucking ages at this point, you don't get to tell us that we are overreactionary snowflakes for seeing things that are potentially harmful to us. Not to mention the fact that people who were friends and allies and collaborators are now no longer talking to each other. This video, this whole debacle has hurt so many people. So many people have had lines drawn and have been caught, like innocent people have been dragged in and caught up in the crossfire. And it's not just trans people who were hurt by this, although let's face it, a lot of people who were hurt by this are trans people, but it's also just the atheist community people that got really fucking destroyed by this. I don't know who to trust anymore. I don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. As an audience member, I'm basically being ping-ponged back and forth between like two sides, essentially. And because of my initial involvement and my emotional involvement and my constant involvement in things like comments and talking to people about it, talking to other creators about it, it's just taking so much, like, emotionally draining, and I just can't stand it anymore. I need it to stop. I need it to fucking die. One nice thing that did come out of this was that I was able to have a, like, discussion in the comment section with Sarah Michelle, which we disagreed about a lot of things, but we kept it civil, and that was really nice. That we could have that discussion with opposing viewpoints and not get into a screaming match. And we ended up finding some common ground at the end. So that was really nice. In conclusion about the whole sort of situation, I just want it over now. I want it to die and stay dead. But I do want everyone to remember what happened. Because if anyone says something along the lines of sticks and stones and blah 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 and words can't hurt, well, just look at what happened over the past 2 months. Everyone got hurt. Everyone got dragged into this. All because of some words. Words can and do hurt. And I was going to make a whole video about this. I've made so many notes, but I don't want to dedicate too much time else on this. Now, I've had some very strong opinions about this. I'm not by any means an athlete or personally involved in athletics, but I am involved in the wider sense that I am trans. And athletes are somewhat held up to certain standards and, you know, revered in society. And anything that, you know, has an attitude towards them reflects on all of us. Just the whole thing of the original topic, should trans athletes be allowed to compete as the gender they identify with? Well, I think so. I take the stance that someone has stated that unless good evidence can be provided to suggest not, then yeah, let's go ahead and let people do that. However, after reviewing the evidence, I've seen that the evidence is not conclusive and there is just not enough of it. So there's more work to be done, there's more studies to be done, but as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, let's just let people do as they wish. And I think the way that that rationality rules handled other people's reactions was not the best. You don't get to control how other people react. And if they don't like what you have said, then you just have to sort of live with that. I think that Essence of Thought has been both correct but also very rude to some people when it wasn't needed. They have been correct when they've been critiquing the videos, but I think I just think that they see everybody as an enemy, and I think it's easy to misinterpret people's intentions when you've been fighting for so long. I don't think that everybody out there is attacking them, but they see everybody as attacking them. I think moving on is probably the best way to sort of deal with this. The whole Make America Straight conference thing that's going on at the moment is a much bigger shitstorm to deal with. I don't really want to say anything else. It's just, it's been 2 fucking months of hell. I want everyone involved to know that your words and your actions do have massive, massive impacts, and I want you to remember that in future. There is one other thing that I want to talk about that is trans-related, but not related to the whole other debacle. And I'm not sure I really should say it, but I think if I don't say it, then other people who are in the same situation are going to feel alone and just lost and frustrated. So the thing that I did, I did the thing that I said people shouldn't do. I bought hormones from the internet. It's expensive, but it's still way cheaper than using private health care. I can't wait any longer. The NHS is fucked. At this rate, I will be waiting until 2022 for appointments, for meds, for hormones. And who knows what state the healthcare system will be in by then. The whole politics around the issues really, they do affect me, they affect other people, they scare me. With everything that's going on at the moment, the Tories being in a complete fucking mess, but each new leader looking to be more and more bigoted than the last, the Brexit Party, which I spoke out against and didn't want to fucking have to deal with, are gaining grounds and making really dodgy homophobic remarks. Thank you, Anne Widdecombe and Nigel Farage, for, you know, showing us where you really stand. And as for Trump, well, Trump can go fuck himself with a cactus with rusty pieces of razor blades sticking out of it, right up the anus. He can fuck himself, he can fuck off. He is not doing trade deals with the UK after Brexit. The US healthcare system is fucked. The US healthcare system at the moment has thousands of people unable to get healthcare access. The last thing we need in this country, in the UK, is to follow that model, because the NHS might be fucked up and screwed up and pulled apart by the Tories, and fucking all the money being drained and siphoned off in places. At least we do have an NHS. At least it is there in case, if tomorrow I fall down the stairs and break my leg, then I'll be able to have that service and that, you know, healthcare provided. The NHS is broken, it needs fixing, but it does not need to be sold off. At least in this country, we have it. For trans people, we've got to wait 30 fucking years, but we have it. So I want to talk about the hormone situation. Now, I have bought these, you know, this medication online. It was very difficult. I had to go through like several different places to find someone that was a reputable source, that wasn't going to fuck me over, and I still have a little bit of a niggling doubt just because of something that happened earlier today. Basically, all of the rules about buying things online are changing so that it makes it incredibly difficult to be able to purchase these sorts of things. The avenues are being closed off for trans people. I had to do an international money transfer, and I got a little bit grilled about it by my bank. I had to fill in lots of forms and answer questions, and dancing around the truth made me feel like a criminal, even though I'm not actually doing anything illegal. And I'm spending a lot of money on this. I'm spending about an extra 50% on tax and bank charges and things like that, because I have to order them from overseas. And the real kicker is, these meds exist in the UK, I just can't access them. And that's the same story for more and more people that I'm talking to. It's a horrible, horrible fucking situation to have to be in, to live in limbo, to wait for these things that it's so easy, so easy to fix. Just give us the resources, give us the healthcare professionals, give them the fucking funding to be able to provide for us. And give them the training that they need to be able to identify when it's necessary, because a lot of people aren't getting what they need because the healthcare professionals aren't trained well enough to be able to say, oh, well, this is something that I can sign off on. The world is going to hell. Most definitely, the world is going to hell around me. So I did the only thing that I could think of, with, as my final last option. So if anybody watching does in fact fall into this category of not knowing what to do or how to proceed, or feeling like in limbo, like I felt, then I can't recommend what to do, but I can say that I got desperate enough to do this. The state of how trans people are treated in the UK in this day and age is beyond shit. Not by the people around us, not by the, police or anything like that, because in my experience I've found the police to be quite helpful when it comes to rights and sticking up for what I'm entitled to legally, as in the right to not be harassed by other people. But in terms of the people at the top, the lawmakers, the politicians, the people siphoning off funds from the NHS, stripping it away for their own evil ends, and we're the ones at the bottom of the rung of the ladder of society, dealing with the consequences of that. This has been really hard to make and to talk about, and I really hope it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. For once I'm not trying to be controversial, I just want things to change for the better. For me and for all the other trans people in my situation. I mean, for all the trans people in the world, but especially for those that can sympathise with my situation and can relate to what I'm going through. It's not fair. We shouldn't have to put up with it. Any of it. Not the YouTube drama, nor the hormones and healthcare shit. Just, I'm so fucking done. I am so fucking done with this utter shite. I'm really, really tired, and I hope that by getting this out there I can lay this to rest a little bit, because emotionally I have been completely just exhausted by all of this. And it's very sad, and I don't want to feel this way anymore. So that's it. That's all I have to say at the moment. Sorry it hasn't been particularly happy or pleasant, but these things need saying. I hope you can understand. I'll see you soon. Bye.